What's up, Victoria? It's Victoria. Today we're going to be playing with something that is not oft featured on my channel. We're going to do a full face of drugstore makeup. If you are new to my channel, I typically feature luxury and high-end makeup. That's the world of makeup that I've just kind of always been in, but I have been more open to different price points, and I have also started getting PR from CoverGirl. So I have a lot of CoverGirl that will be featured in this video. Ultimately, this is part of a larger series I'm doing on my channel right now where I'm trying to shift focus away from the Sephora sale to show you that there is good and amazing makeup at all price points, but also that you don't need to shop the Sephora sale. During this series, I'm not going to be doing any affiliate linking. I'm just going to be doing beautiful faces of makeup with different products. Just because I'll be using it in today's video doesn't mean you need to go out and buy any of the things that I'm going to show you today. What I'm considering drugstore makeup in this video is stuff that's inexpensive, anything kind of like under the $20 mark, unless it's from a brand that is a drugstore brand that maybe costs more, because some of the CoverGirl stuff can get a little bit of pricey. So anything you would walk into an Ulta and go left, well, at least I think most of them are set up like this. All of the more inexpensive stuff's on this left. That's what will be included. So I am going to be including some Morphe and some About Face products in this video, as well as some other brands. Let's get into this. I've been trying in this series so far not to feature too much stuff I received in PR. For the drugstore, a lot of what I own is from CoverGirl. So it's gonna be very CoverGirl heavy in this video. So I just want to be honest about that up at the top, but we have still plenty to talk about. Okay, so I'm gonna start. I don't really have any like lip prep from the drugstore, but I think this will be sufficient. This is from About Face. This is the Lip Color Butter Cherry Pick. Shit, I always say this wrong. Also, I'm gonna zoom you in a little. You feel very far away. So I'm gonna be using the About Face Cherry Pick Lip Color Butter in the shade Nashi Pear. This is a lovely product. I do just think it's a little stinky. It's not something that smells bad. It just smells too much. There's too much of that candy smell to it. I don't love that. There are plenty of products that I really love that have fragrance in them. I'm not that upset about fragrance normally. It just depends on the longevity of the scent. Anyway, I'm starting with this product today because it is like kind of like a lip balmy kind of situation. This definitely is more of a lip gloss than a regular lip balm. It's nice, thick, and nourishing, so I'm just going to use it as a prep step, but this will not be the final lip product we use today, but I just wanted to start with something. For primer today, I'm going to be using this from Revlon. This is the Revlon Illuminance. It's like has so many words on it, but I like don't know which words are part of the name, but it's the Revlon Illuminance Protect and Moisturize with SPF 30. This has both chemical and mineral sunscreen in it, so if you have sensitivities to either one of those, this might not be for you. This was gifted to me by my friend Andromeda, who is S Andromeda on Instagram. So I don't know how they got it or why they sent it to me. They really never said that they sent it to me for any particular reason, so I'm just assuming that they got it somehow and they were like, we'll just send this to Tom. I also am like a primer person. I really like primer. This smells like sunscreen. You can smell the SPF in it, and it's a pretty good primer. I think of the drugstore primers I have tried, it is my favorite. I tried some from CoverGirl True Blend primers, and we're going to be using some other products from True Blend. None of those really worked out for me, but this one is pretty nice. There's a bit of like a shimmer particle in this product. I find that sometimes products with SPF in them tend to stay pretty emollient, but this actually sets down to like I would say like a mattified glow, where it's like there's no like really glow to the skin. The glow is mostly coming from like shimmer, not shimmer, like maybe shimmer, but just something that isn't actually your skin being moisturized. It's like in the product. The product is shiny itself. It's not actually the quality of your skin that's glowing. And some people like that in a primer, and I have had highs and lows with this primer. It pills with some product, it doesn't pill with other product, so this is more like a buyer beware. This is just something that I had on hand to use as a primer in a drugstore video. It's not something that I would like recommend with my full chest. If you were looking for a new primer, I don't know that this is a bad one, but I would bet money that there's probably way better primers at the drugstore than this. Next up from CoverGirl, this is the Clean, I always get the name wrong. I was talking to Miranda, but what's her handle? Miranda / Beauty. I was talking to her. We met at Creator and Friends last fall. She tends to talk about drugstore product, and then she was like doing some kind of video, and I recommended a bunch of CoverGirl stuff, and she was like, what's with all the CoverGirl? I was like, they sent me PR. She asked about favorite drugstore foundation, and this is what I recommended. So I've tried drugstore foundation products in the past. It's been a while since I've really use them regularly, but I used to use Maybelline, a lot of the stuff from Maybelline, like the Maybelline. The Maybelline was kind of my primary foundation. There was like a matte foundation, and then they also, was Maybelline the one that had basically it was like a plastic stick concealer that like, it wasn't a stick concealer, it was liquid concealer, but it had like the sponge on the end. This is, like I said, CoverGirl Clean Invisible foundation. I use the shade Light Ivory. It's a pretty good shade match for me. I will say it does maybe get a little darker throughout the day, but this foundation is pretty great. Like, and I mean that just like not for the price. Like it's a great foundation. I believe that in the US, someone from Canada said this is $14.50 over there. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's more expensive now. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I would say probably at this time, it's probably best to save your money in any aspects beyond the Sephora sale. But I am not a financial supervisor for you, but that would be my suggestion to you in these trying times. This is $7. At the time of filming, it's $7. Should be the MSRP is $7. Sometimes you just feel like you're in the darkest timeline. Something I've struggled with in these times is being like someone who talks about makeup and purchasing being part of some of the stuff that I do here. I'm very much struggling with that. And that's, so my recommendation to you, if I wasn't doing this right now, if I wasn't someone who like reviews makeup online as part of the gig here, I probably wouldn't be buying any new makeup. And also like PR is like a luxury, and I don't know if like the tariffs and anything will affect how much PR people get, or if like smaller brands will stop sending PR to smaller creators. Like I have no idea what's going to shake out, but like it's stuff that I'm thinking about. I don't want you to think that I'm just like sitting here like don't buy it from the Sephora sale. Like I'm taking like I trust me when I say like, I think you should be saving your money and probably not buying anything, not even as a little treat anymore. I just would say like saving your money is probably the best act of love you can provide yourself at this time. Just because everything's unsure. I'm not saying anything is going to happen. I don't know, but like I would just say perhaps even a $7 foundation wouldn't be something worth your money at this time. But if you need a new foundation and you don't want to buy something higher end, I would recommend this even to people who like higher end foundations. Like this is really good. It's really good. Let me apply it. I'm talking way too much. Okay. Influencer opens mouth, says too much about tariffs and taxes. Shit like that. This is just like the last video I posted where I was sleepy and saying too much, and I was like, Tom, shut up. I'm feeling the exact same way. Oh, I squirted out way too much of that. Oh my God. Oh my God. We're making a mess. Okay. I would say that this color is maybe a little bit peachier than I would go, but sometimes like at certain price points, it does feel like beggars can't be choosers. If something works for you, it works for you. I don't have any concealers from the drugstore either to be putting under my eyes, so I'll be taking it all the way up under my eye. So what I like about this foundation is I found that the coverage is really natural. The finish is very natural. Everything about it's very natural. Like it just looks like your skin. It looks good. I would say the coverage is like a light medium coverage. We're not getting full coverage out of this. I think those foundations always look best on the skin when potentially glowy. I would say like it's skin glowy finish, but not, I don't think it looks too shiny. It reminds me actually, and I've said this before, and I stand by this, a lot of the Patrick Ta foundation, which I really like. I don't think it's an exact dupe, and of course, I'm sure like the ingredients vary quite a bit in them, because I remember like the Patrick Ta selling point was like there's skincare in it, and I'm not sure that this foundation is, but it does say, it says clean on the bottle, so maybe their ingredients are closer than I thought, but I do feel like they have the same finish. They perform very similarly on my skin. I had like no complaints about it. It's just lovely. For those of you who shave, I guess even your legs, but I don't know, but maybe other people who have to shave their face. Are there some times where you shave your face and like everything just goes so smooth? And then other times you shave your face and you're like, well, later on I'm going to have like the most intense razor burn I've ever had. Today was a good day. But reporting back, today was a good day. Sorry, I was like looking up. I'm getting like weird shadow on my face, but I'm not really sure why. All of my usual lighting is up. Sometimes I forget to turn some of the lights on. That's the finish. I do believe that the primer underneath is making it a little more glowy, but I do think it Kind of like the Dewdrop foundation from Surratt. It's like that glowy quality usually, but it doesn't feel like it's going to slide off my face, which is sometimes I put a glowy foundation on and that's what I feel like is going to happen. But someone with dry skin might like that a little bit more. If I wasn't wearing this primer underneath, it wouldn't look as glowy or as wet as it does, but it also takes to powder quite well. But I do think perhaps people with drier skin might prefer this formula. I don't remember having side ponies the last time I had long enough hair to do a side pony, but it's kind of like, isn't it? Like, I kind of love it. Basically, a lot of the rest of the makeup is going to be like featured by CoverGirl. Anything you see from CoverGirl, much like this, was something I received in PR. We're going to contour with their contour stick, which these are new to me. I don't know how new they are to the market. I don't really keep up with drugstore stuff. CoverGirl sends me stuff. I'm happy to try it. And a lot of the time it's very good. There's been very few things that CoverGirl has sent me that I have been completely disinterested in or have completely disliked. Was everything been a home run? Have I kept everything? No, but some things have been. Okay, this is the True Blend Stick Skin Enhancer. Now, I sneak peeked this in a video a week or so ago where I did purple makeup, and if you didn't watch that, you wouldn't have heard anything I said about it. So if you did watch that video, this will be like a little bit of me repeating myself. There's only really product in this much of it, but I did check on Sephora. The Milk Makeup cream bronzer also has the same amount of product that this does. So this is in the shade Defined. This is the lightest contour shade. It shows up a little bit green. I feel like that has been very controversial for people. Some people really like that it's green. I had someone who says that they have olive skin, that they tried this and it looked terrible on them. So I don't really know what to make of it. This looks pretty okay on me, but I find that a lot of contour products, whenever they make a fair cool tone contour, they tend to be green. There's just something green to them. I don't think they always look bad on the cheek. I do think if they're too dark and they have that green, it tends to look very muddy on my skin tone at least. And this is actually, whenever I used it last, that was the first time I used it in that last video. Whenever I've used it, it has looked pretty great on my skin. Something of note, I don't know if this one will. If you do decide to buy these, if this becomes part of your journey, they tend to be loose. This one's pretty good. It's staying in. Some of the shades that I got in this formula popped out and they were like shaking in the lid. So you might have to push product back down in, or you might want to move it into a pan as opposed to using the stick system. Now, I have applied it to my face and I will do it today. It doesn't lift foundation, so I'm just going to draw it on and then we'll blend it out. And I have found that these give you a decent amount of time to blend. It also, we're going to be using a blush later, and over powder, it does blend out. It just is a little more work if you're blending it out over powder, which I find that if a cream product works over powder, there is just more muscle needed for that typically. And then I'm going to blend that out with the large angled contour from Sigma. This is the Sigma F40. So you can see it doesn't look super green now that it's blended out. It looks pretty good on my skin tone. It really depends on the formula, the level of pigmentation that the product has, that seems to decide whether or not it shows up muddy on my skin. On my skin tone, this is actually a quite nice contour, and I think it could be a good purchase. But I do think if you are concerned about price, like I think these are about $14. Is it Milani? No, it was, oh my God, what was it called? What's the name of the brand? They have the Princess mascaras. That brand, I can't think of it. They have a bronzing stick. I think it's called Baby Got Bronze. And the lightest shade of that is a contour shade. It's gray. The only thing you need to know about that one, it is super scented and it smells like watermelon candy. Know that before you're buying it. But that was also a really great contour at the drugstore. And I believe that is around $5. So if $14 is even too much for you, that's what I would recommend as far as a contour at the drugstore, if you have my skin tone. I can't speak for the deeper bronzer shades, but the lightest shade is not a bronzer. It is much more of a contour. I feel like that sculpted my face quite nicely. And the last time I used the complexion product I had on was very matte, and it blended even more seamlessly into this more emollient base. On a matte foundation could be harder to blend, but I find that that's kind of the case with anything going on a matte foundation, unless you're putting matte powders on top of it. For bronzer today, we're staying in the same line. This is just the next deepest shade. It's the shade Sculpted, and this is just a little bit darker and it pulls a little bit warm. I would still say, like, for a bronzer shade, even using it as a bronzer shade, it is a little more on the neutral side. I don't feel like it pulls to anything. So I think it's really good for a bronzer for me. Every time I talk about bronzer, I feel like I'm a broken record, but I think it's just good to good to point out. I just feel like this is right down the middle, not rosy, not really yellow, not really orange. It just looks like a really good bronze for me. I don't even know if it's really like warming up the face. I do think it's just like an additional sculpt that isn't gray, but I couldn't use this as a contour. It's too brown. Yeah, that was the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer Contour Balm. I would call these creams more than I would call them balms. I don't feel like they have a balmy texture to them or finish. They're stiff enough to hold their own. This is the blush in the line from CoverGirl. This is the shade, again, this isn't sponsored by CoverGirl. This is, I would be very explicit about it if it was. Literally, I have the most drugstore stuff from CoverGirl, which is they happen to send me PR. This is the shade Nude Flush in the blush line from, like, it's the same thing. It's just the blush color. I haven't put this one on my face. I wore the, like, lavender one the last time, so I haven't worn this shade. I imagine it's gonna look a lot like that shade from Glaminatrix that I tried on the other day. It seems to have that quality. Like, this is, like, normally the color of what people call, like, nude. But it is coral on me. It is looking very natural. It's not like too much color. The purple one definitely had more punch to it. And I'm applying it from a brush. That is usually how I like to use them. I do often say if it comes in a stick, it should be able to be applied directly to the face. And the contour does, but I like a more diffused blush look as opposed to a contour, which, not that I want it to be harsh, I still want it to be blended out, but it is more of a line where I want my blush to be applied even more softly. That's really pretty. It's kind of like a nothing burger kind of color though. It reminds me of like the Finding Ferdinand blushes I had from the Summer Abroad collection. Like, it's kind of one of those shades. It also is a little bit like the shade I use, it's right here, the shade Soft from Glaminatrix, but like a little bit more demure. Like, it's not as pigmented as this, but it's kind of like taking a while to build up as well. The lavender one was also kind of like this, and I'm wondering if these just don't have a ton of pigment in them. Like, they're kind of designed to not be. It does just feel like it's a little less elegant than the contours feel. Like, the contours I feel blend a lot easier. Not blend a lot easier, but like there's more pigment when you apply them and then they blend out. Blushes have felt a little more matte than the contours. I don't know. Whenever I was applying it on the more matte finished foundation I was wearing, it felt like this is applying the same way. And I felt that way about it at the time too. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I'm trying to like verbalize this, but like, it's not like it's hard to blend. It's not like the hardest product to work with. It's just like not as elegant feeling as the contours are when I'm blending it out. That's what I really want to say. Like, it's kind of like a neutral thing. It's just something to note. Oh, I think this will be a good example. This is the highlight in the shade Moonlight. And so this is one of the ones that's falling out. And they sent me 2 shades of this, and the other one was a little bit more warm, but that's what happened to a lot of the things that came in this PR package. This was the lighter of the 2 shades, but they were both pretty warm leaning. This one was more neutral. The other one I think was more for deeper skin tones. I'm not sure it would really matter. Like, there's, maybe there is a base pigment. It might matter, but that's what it looks like in a thick swatch. And they are pretty glimmery as well. Like, they have a little bit of sparkle to them. It's very thin, but it's kind of inconsistent. Sometimes it really depends on the formula, how, like, whether or not a consistent sparkle or an inconsistent sparkle is good. The Westman Atelier Super Loaded highlight that I have, the Peau de Rosé one, there's like sparkle in that, but it's pretty inconsistent, but it doesn't look bad on the cheek. But then I've had other things with inconsistent sparkle that look really terrible on the cheek. It really just is like from formula to formula. I'm going to apply it the same way I applied the blush. I'm gonna pick it up on a brush, especially because it's like loose. I feel like that didn't do much of anything. Okay, I'm not having a great time with this. So the sparkles are kind of getting caught in my pores. They're not looking great, and it's also very hard to blend, even though I'm picking it up on the brush first. And normally that solves the problem of like a stick product or a cream product being hard to blend. I don't know. I don't think I love that. I'll zoom you in. I'm gonna do the other cheek and then I'll zoom you in so you can just get a closer look at it. Because sometimes, depending on what kind of screen you're watching on, I typically watch YouTube while I'm working, like, or I have it on in the background while I'm working. But when I say on the background, it's like on my phone, but I'm not normally watching. Like, I'm just kind of listening to it and I look down occasionally. So when someone tries to show me something and like it's like on my screen this big, but some people watch on a TV. So if you're on a TV, you might be able to see what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna zoom you in. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm a fan of this. Okay. It's just like some of the sparkle is getting caught on texture. And of course, like a highlighter is going to emphasize texture. That's totally kind of par for the course. I feel like there are highlighters that do it more elegantly than others. I'm not really liking the way my skin's like looking with this on top of it. And yeah, the glitter particles are just kind of like everywhere. When it comes to these, if I were to buy any of them, I would buy the contours for sure. Like I think if a color works for you, the contours I think are good, would be a good buy. I think the purple one might be worth it, but I think I have encountered easier to work with cream blushes than these. It's not even like a hard cream blush, but like if you like one of the colors a lot, then maybe. I don't think it's something I would go out of my way to buy. The contours I pretty much really like, and then I would skip the highlighter altogether when it comes to this line. Okay, I'm gonna powder my face, and of course the powder, of course. I have tried the CoverGirl Simply Ageless powder, and that was actually quite nice, but this is from Morphe. It's the Cloud Light Soft Glow Veil. Cloud Light's the shade. This is the lightest shade of this. I was wrong. In a previous video, I said there are 3 shades. I believe there are 4 shades of this. And this was about $16. And I like to use this as a finishing powder. I think it works best as a finishing powder, but I'm going to just kind of use it to set the center of my face just to get rid of some of the glow. This powder is glowy, but it will take down the shine too. And then for that, I'm going to be using this precision powder brush from Sigma. It's their F08. And I really like this powder. I've been really getting on with it. I like the amount of blur it provides. I like the little bit of coverage it provides. I just did that side of my face. Did you see how like it looks airbrushed? It's so great. I really like this powder. Although now that I'm looking at it, it might be getting a little hard panned. I'm not having any issues picking things up. I'm not really sure if this is like this might be baked. I'm not really, I think it is a baked powder. It feels like a baked powder. So sometimes whenever you're using baked powders, they do kind of like get that weird, like it looks like a film, but it's not. I don't know. My Chantecaille powder did that whenever I was using it. Like when I started using it, I was like, is it hard panning? But it wasn't. I just kind of kept that in the center of my face. I do like pressing this into my skin as opposed to just gently sweeping it. You can sweep it, but I just think whenever it comes to this kind of powder, especially something blurring, I do find that pressing it into the skin always gives you a better blur. For eye products, CoverGirl's never sent me an eye product. I'm kind of exaggerating what might be considered an eyeshadow from the drugstore, especially right now. What I'm going to do, we'll start with this. This is certainly something I think we can consider drugstore. This is the About Face eyeliner in the shade Electric Slide. And I'm going to actually just kind of like put it all over my lid and kind of blend it out kind of like an eyeshadow. Here's one thing I'll say about drugstore. Normally there's so many compacts with mirrors on my vanity whenever I'm doing my makeup. There is not a one. I had to like pull out my actual compact, the one that's just a compact. I think they do make an eyeshadow stick version of this, but I don't have that. So I'm just gonna take it all the way up to my natural crease, and then I'm gonna buff it out with my finger and hope that that works. But this won't be the only eye product I'm using today. We're gonna be using some products that I think are going to be inaccessible to us soon in the United States. That's cute. We could stop there, but I want to add some sparkle. I'm just a year late for Brat Summer. I am going to put sparkle on it. This is from the brand Juicy. This is a Chinese brand. And when I bought this was $10. So I'm not sure how much it's going to cost now. So it probably wouldn't qualify as a drugstore priced product in the United States at this time. But it is a very beautiful product. And it's basically just a sparkle. It's supposed to be a highlighter, but I use it on my eyes. And that's actually the way I prefer it. So I'm just going to add some layers of sparkle on top of the eyeliner. I also saw that the Chinese brand Shall We Makeup decided to stop selling to the US, but they were kind of putting the vibes out there to maybe find a stockist in the US to sell their product, because they were like, it's just too expensive for everyone. Like, for them to send it here and for us to buy it from them directly. This is like what's really happening in real time in regards to the makeup world and the cause and effect of the tariffs. It is affecting this industry. You already have beautiful makeup. You don't need to buy new makeup, but it is also a shame too. Oh, mascara. This is old now. Like, this is past 3 months, and the shelf life they recommend, put it on the container, please. I know that the mascara ones are small, but like I can't tell. Anyway, I've had this for about 3 months. So this is towards the end of its life. I really liked this mascara. This application of it that I'm doing with you will be my last application. I've already cracked open a new, did I say foundation? I already cracked open a new mascara. Foundation. Oh, did you see the sparkle? Did I lean in for the sparkle? It's very subtle. It's just a little something something. I also don't have any, oh, I guess I just used the green eyeliner. So I do have a drugstore eyeliner. I just used it, but I used it as eyeshadow instead today. Anyway, this is the e.l.f. Lash Extender. It's their tubing mascara. I have the dark black shade. I think there's a regular black shade, and then I also think there is a brown. And this is a lovely mascara for $7, but I also just kind of think in general, it's like super easy to remove because it's a tubing formula. And I also think it brings drama, which sometimes I find that tubing mascaras lack the ability to bring the drama. I don't curl my lashes or anything like that, but I do feel as though some of my friends who do curl their lashes have said that this works well for that. Let's move on to lips. I'm going to zoom out a little bit for lips, and I'm going to take off the lip gloss that I had on just kind of as a prep step. Do you ever hear a plane going over your house now and you're like, nervous? Every time I hear a plane go over the house, I'm like, but what if it falls on my house? And I never had that thought before 2025. Never, never, never. So for lips today, I'm going to be using this from CoverGirl. This is this is PR. It's their lip stain in the shade 45 Brazen Raisin. I love this as a lip liner. This is actually one of my favorite products that I tried last year. The thing about them is that I feel like they do dry out pretty quickly. They're like a marker stain, but I just really love this color so much. So you might be wondering how I use it as a lip liner instead. And I do like a buffed out lip line, and I can do that with this. I just do like a quadrant in my lips. So basically, I just like did that quarter of my lip, the bottom right half of my lip, and I blended it out with my finger. And I'm just going to do that with all the four quadrants of my lips, as we all know them to be. So basically with this color, it's like kind of a cool toned color. I like it. It just kind of contours my lips a bit. And then I'm going to top it with one of the lip plumping glosses. This is my second favorite shade of this, but it's like this brown lip gloss. Yummy, fresh, clean, fresh, yummy plumper gloss in the shade Like You a Chocolate. I also want you to know that I took this out the other night. I had to go to my bag and grab it. I had other lip products sitting out. Like I also almost used this one. What's this shade? Freeze the Day. And that, my friends, is a full face of drugstore priced makeup. You know, I don't know about the juicy product anymore, but I think we have a really gorgeous face of makeup. It's very lively. It's very glowy. It's very pretty. I'm actually very into it. I don't love the highlight. I would say that's like, it wasn't even like a fail. I just like didn't love working with it. So I just think it's a beautiful face of makeup. Anyway, I didn't have to shop the Sephora sale to get this beautiful face of makeup. And a lot of the products that I featured today were fairly affordable and pretty easily acquirable, which is also not often the case on my channel. So, you know, it's just a very different vibe, but I feel like my makeup looks just as good as it would have if I used more expensive products. So that's always nice to know. If you enjoyed today's video, I would love to have you subscribe. The next video will be the complete opposite of this because I'm going to be featuring luxury makeup you can't buy at Sephora during the Sephora sale. If you want to stick around to see more content that is right now kind of just like encouraging you to keep yourself in check in regards to the Sephora sale, whether you're not buying the Sephora sale or you only have a couple things that you're picking up at the Sephora sale. That's all this content's meant to be. It's not to shame anyone who is shopping the Sephora sale. I'm always going to be countering that in any way I can, but it's never meant to be like super judgmental. But so I would love to have you stick around if you're looking for a friend to make it through the Sephora sale with. I have a Sephora sale playlist that features content that's more specifically commentary about why the Sephora sale might not be the best sale to shop and why you might want to save your money instead of shopping the Sephora sale. I will have that in the description box down below if you want to see more of that kind of content. There will also be a pinned comment. In that pinned comment will be a couple of links to support some very worthy causes. If you have any additional funds that you could support those people with, I'd really appreciate it. Speaking of having additional funds, if you want to support me on Patreon or channel memberships, you absolutely can. I do one additional video over there every single month. But if you don't have the funds for that or you simply do not want to do it, totally understand. Like I said earlier, make sure you are financially as responsible as you can be in these trying times. But also, you might just not want to join my Patreon or memberships, and that's totally fine. I'm just happy that you're here. And that, I think, is the end of the video. Oh, God, I used to do it in such a spiel, and I like lost the spiel because I was trying to shorten it, but then I've just kind of messed it up altogether. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. Remember to follow your hope, and you'll find me, and I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth, tits out. Let me try a different face to end the video with. Go forth, tits out.